I got my first club cap there about 3 weeks ago 4 weeks ago for Blackrock.
Wow.
So, yeah.
No way.
Yeah.
3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
You played for Ireland before playing club rugby?
Yeah.
You're joking. That is mad.
Yeah, so I suppose that's something that needs to be fixed.
Yeah, like that would never happen in the men's game.
No.
Joe presents House of Rugby, United Rugby Championship, together with Bank of Ireland, proud supporter of the 4 Irish provinces.
Welcome back to House of Rugby. No Six Nations to look back on this week, guys, but plenty of URC with all 4 Irish provinces in action. As always, I'm joined by the lovely Megan Williams, Greg O'Shea. Megan, how was your week?
Great week. Well, I've been chained to the house because of the storm with a toddler, so it's been interesting.
Yeah, but it's good to be back on set. Unfortunately, no Six Nations to talk about. We did have URC, but before we get into all that, we have a great guest this week. Munster rugby player, Irish rugby player, 2021 Women's Young Player of the Year. And not only that, Women's 15th Player of the Year. We have the great Dorothy Wall in. Thanks so much for joining us, Dorothy.
Delighted to be here.
You're just off the back of a game yesterday.
Yeah, I'm a bit broke up now today, but I'm not too bad.
Yeah.
I'm ready to launch into this and all the analysis and whatnot. But sore, yeah.
And how did you get on yesterday?
Yeah, we won. It was on Astra, so it was fast. So a good bit of metres under the belt. So
Nice.
It was a huge win against Railway, wasn't it? 39-7?
Yeah, it was good. We had a few new players in the mix, so they ran through our processes and structures. So hopefully we're all firm for the final next weekend.
80 minutes in that wind and rain, I'd say, wasn't nice.
Actually, to be fair, we dodged the wind and rain, but yeah, it was a fast game. Yeah, I'm feeling it today.
Good stuff.
Well, Dorothy, we've got 10 questions coming up later on the show for you. We promise they won't be too hard. So
Okay,
we'll
I'm
go
ready.
easy on you. But we'll kick things off first, guys, with our beloved Munster. Big win for them the weekend, 34-20 over Edinburgh. 3 tries for Simon Zebo, bonus point.
Vintage Zebo.
Vintage.
Yeah.
He definitely stole the show, didn't he, with the 3 tries? But what do we think of him? Do you think he's still got what it takes to be getting back into the green jersey? Like, he's putting on great performances for Munster, but will he overtake the likes of Hansen, Lowe?
What do you think, Dorothy?
Ooh, on the spot.
Coming in hot.
I think the quality that's coming up to the provinces in terms of Mac Hansen and James O is there. I'm not sure will he make it back in, but I think he's probably a fantastic mentor for the young lads in Munster, and to show them like he's got so much experience in an Irish jersey over in France and in Munster that I think he has loads to give back, and I think Munster's probably a great place for him right now. I could be wrong, but that's what I think.
His coach though, Van Gran, hailing him as such a special player, so you're probably right. The experience.
Oh, I think he's unreal. He's obviously such a character as well, but I think there's just such quality in the back three.
Yeah, I'd love to see Zebo back in an Irish jersey. I think he just has I don't know, there's just too many people there.
Competition is ridiculous.
Yeah. If you could just start naming loads of them, as we always say, the Irish team's just so much depth at the moment and they're all playing well. I would love to see Zebo at 15 for Ireland. I just think he's so creative, and as you said,
Hugo Keenan, no?
Yeah, well, you can take a break for a while. He's been playing every single game.
Yeah, that's true.
I'd love to see Zebo next. He's so creative. He's so well experienced that he could start pulling the strings with 2 young wingers. But I just can't see him getting back in there at the moment. There's too many good.
It makes sense,
there.
As you said. If Keenan gets injured, I'd have Zebo in there. Who else are you going to put in there? I don't like seeing Lamore back in full back. I don't like seeing the likes of who else? You could maybe put Lowry in there. I'd like Zebo in there.
I prefer Zebo to Lowry now.
Would you?
I think so, yeah.
Okay.
Well, Lowry's obviously playing really well, but I just think Zeebo's so creative, so much experience. I'd trust him more
the
back
experience in full back, definitely.
Yeah.
7 tries and 6 starts now. That's phenomenal. He recently overtook Anthony Foley for the highest European try scorer for Munster. He's already Munster's highest try scorer, even though he was gone to France for 3 years.
Yeah, he's ridiculous.
It's pretty ridiculous.
Yeah.
That's pretty good, yeah. Well, his weekend's work was fairly easy now, the 3 tries.
Yeah, he put himself in good places.
Yeah. He touched the ball 5 times, I think, and scored 3 tries.
Yeah, that's
he had a bit of work to do for the third one, but the first 2 now were...
He did. Easy, yeah. Well, but the other thing is people say that, and I shouldn't really be saying it as well as an ex-winger, but you have to be in the places.
Absolutely,
yeah. Do you know what I mean? A lot of people
seek it out. It's not,
But is he busy enough as a player? Because that's come back and time again. Is he busy enough? Does he get involved? Because
3 tries.
3 tries on the wing, though.
Yeah, you think showing up like James Lowe does.
Yeah, through the centres and coming off the wing, going to the other side.
That's probably the difference of what would get him into the Irish chat, if he was doing things like that.
Yeah.
But you never know. We could all be eating our words now. Zebo could be in there.
Yeah, could be a Mac Hansen all over again.
Sure, there's a New Zealand tour coming up this summer. You could easily put him on that.
Exactly. There's plenty of games there. But we had some good clips from that game. The clip I thought was absolutely brilliant. It reminded me of that clip from The Beast years ago playing Super Rugby with Chris Clote taking
good.
Chris Hart for a walk here. Brilliant.
Is that even legal?
Why? It's only a lift. It's just like he carries him for an extra.
But the run after
players
was
are
superb.
ridiculous,
I think he
though.
was so surprised. If you actually zoom in close to his face, I think he goes, "I'm sorry."
But come here, it's
No.
if he lets go of him there, like he could end up being in. So fair play to Clote for having the strength. And like if you see him in, like, he's an absolute mutant in the gym.
Oh my God, I'd say so. Yeah.
He looks like Arnold Schwarzenegger, like he's a monster. But
Yeah, he's a
cool.
freak in the gym. Like he always is. And he Chris Farley's not a small guy.
so it's huge.
He's big.
Yeah.
6'3" or 6'4",
Yeah.
and he's whatever 16 stone. He's big boy to be carrying on his shoulders. And
Yeah, well, the thing about Chris Clote is he just can't be taken off a ball. When he locks in there,
Oh,
he's like a
ridiculous.
vice
His
grip.
poach is crazy.
Yeah. He's obviously not that tall, but he's just so
Got the
strong.
low centre of gravity and
He gets like 2 or 3 robs or steals a game, like, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But despite the result, though, it was a big win for Munster. They didn't actually play that flawless. You know, they only had about 38% possession in the game.
Yeah.
it's been a while since we've seen a flawless Munster performance. No offense, but they're still a bit of a stinger.
But another one actually was huge standout for me was, I think we have a clip for that as well, was the Craig Casey throw-in. Like a spin
Back
throw
pass.
under his arm over. That was brilliant. So
great
hopefully we get to show that because I think was that in try of the week?
It ended up being
no,
a try of the
did
week
you-
because he flicked it out the back to Calvin Nash, and then
Oh, that's
unfortunately
right.
for Calvin
Here
Nash,
we go.
That is beautiful.
jeez.
Nash kicks it out in the full net.
Oh,
no.
It's just so annoying for him, like, but incredible piece of skill.
Lovely with skill. I think he's been on a bit for Casey in particular. The pressure on him this year, people are saying he's not playing as well. He's having a bit of second season syndrome. I think the kid's only 22. Like, and he's in the Ireland squad. He's starting for Munster. He's got a lot more responsibility this year.
But it's everyone else that's hyping him up, like in his first year. Like I think he's still equally as good as he was the first year. It's just that they expect him to keep accelerating at the same pace. Whereas I don't know if that's really fair, you know.
Do you feel that pressure yourself because you come in and started so well your career that you feel like I have to get better next year. I have to get better next year. I have to keep being as good as. Is there a kind of pressure on you?
I feel like that's the nature of high performance, though. Like if you get, if you become kind of stagnant in your position or not wanting to get better, then there's an issue. So I think everyone's trying to get better the whole time. It's just those who pull it off well are the ones you kind of notice the most, I think.
Yeah. And sorry, go on, Lee.
But no, I was going to say there was another young player in the squad, Ben Healy. He's, booted 14 points for his team last night, and I thought he played incredibly well. Do you think he might get a chance to get a set up in the Irish squad?
Yeah, I don't know if he's there yet, to be honest. I think he's just still learning his craft down there, and he seems to be getting a lot of minutes with Munster, which is just. I think it's better for people to be with their clubs at that age. I think every week they're playing, and he kicked all his points. And there was chat a few weeks ago of him actually getting poached by Glasgow, I think.
He at one stage
I
he's got
remember hearing
Scottish
that,
ancestry, isn't he? He's got a Scottish grandfather or something. There was talks of them trying to bring him in, and because they don't really have too many backups in Scotland in terms of a second and third choice out half.
Yeah.
Talks, but he turned it down. He signed a deal at Munster.
He re-signed again with Munster. But what I was impressed with him was what Zebo's third try is when he came around the blind side and he actually showed a bit of a step.
Yeah,
because
put him through the gaff
he
then,
did
yeah.
exactly. He created that, which I thought was mad that the winger stepped in, and because come on, Ben Healy's not the fastest guy in the pitch. Like, you don't need to step in.
No.
Stay out on
He
Zebo,
completely fixed the winger, and then Zebo was off, I thought.
which is impressive because he's just kind of known as the kicking, distributing 10, which is able to play ball there, which was quite impressive. So exciting times. But do you think he's going to get into the Irish team?
Well, I think it would be great for him maybe to be exposed to that level of training camp. Do you know, even if he doesn't play, just to get that experience in camp, just to maybe build his confidence, and like the older players maybe can progress him along and show him what it takes.
Yeah,
might help.
I agree with you, but then if you think of so many people in Ireland at his level, like there's both Byrne brothers sitting there. and
both
then-
started the weekend and both played well on Saturday.
Yeah, exactly.
But
And
the game time he's going to get, though, I think like that's going to stand to him. Like actually getting
exactly.
consistent game time, I think that's going to be huge for him, like leading up in
yeah,
his
I
career.
think that's why Jack Carty got so good this season again, because he's been playing every week out in the sports ground with Connacht, you know, which is incredible to see. So it's good to have young fellas like that committing to Munster.
Definitely.
Yeah.
What about, I have the oldest player, Dave Kilcoyne's 200th appearance. That was huge.
He's not that old. Give poor
How
Killer.
old is he?
He's
Sorry.
only 33 now. I think he's
caps.
in fairness to Killer, like he doesn't get injured that often, and he's played he's been there non-stop, and he's a good player. I remember he did the last 5 minutes of the game. He put in that big massive tackle
he
before
brings
he came
serious
off.
intent, definitely.
He loves it. You see, he's the kind of guy that just plays with aggression. He enjoys it. He enjoys the aggression of it. Like he's a lunatic in real life. Like you see
yeah. But he's actually the only he's the 12th player to ever get 200 caps for Munster, which is pretty huge.
Really? Name the other 11. Go.
That
That'd be a good question for people in the comment section now.
That would be.
Killer, sorry, I call him Killer. David Coyne. He had a really good game though defensively. He kept shooting up out of line, which you'd be like, oh, where are you going as a prop? But like he smashed it every single time. Yeah, it was really cool. And at the end there, where whoever he tackled got really pissed off and like started a fight with him, and then everyone started like really getting him up, like yeah, and like you can see him. Zebo ran over and was like rubbing his head and stuff. Yeah. So I love that stuff. It seems like they have a really good vibe now again in Munster. Yeah. I just hope they can keep it going now, and with obviously Van Gran leaving, and he's thinking about bringing Clode with him. Did you hear about that?
Really?
Yeah. He's talks about Chris Clode going over with him to back.
He's actually Irish eligible, like, but just so many bloody back rows like
Clode.
Clode's Irish eligible. Actually, he's been here. He got in here in the original 3 years. Yeah. So he's eligible for the last like year or two. He just never got called up.
Yeah, but
he's had a few injuries. Has he had a lot of concussions?
A couple of bad ones, couple of concussions. He had that really bad arm injury at one stage, but he's a good player. But do you fit him in like the back rows?
Back row so attritional.
You're saying that, and then Jack O'Donoghue, who's got how many man in the matches?
I know. Yeah.
He can't get in.
He's class.
Not a Leinster back rows.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Like Jack O'Donoghue is probably playing the best rugby he's ever played, and he has an Irish cap from a few years ago. Yeah. But at any other stage, I think in the last couple of years, if he was playing the way he is now, he'd be in the back row.
Competition is ridiculous.
You can't get in.
No.
Yeah. Which is crazy. Like, but at least Munster benefiting from it.
Yeah, exactly. It's nice for Munster to have those back rows there and not have to worry about. Let Leinster look after Ireland and let Munster.
Exactly.
Tip away.
Let's
now.
That's the way it is. Come here, like.
But so Edinburgh was still in the game. Like they on the 69th minute, Henry Prygraves was it?
Pigros.
Thanks. You always get me at this point every time. But he scored a great try to keep the Scots in the game. It was kind of close at times.
They looked like they were there in the shot at one stage. But
there was a lovely try they scored down the right wing where I think with Jack O'Donoghue, he stepped in and made a poor defensive call, and Edinburgh just got a lovely try out of nowhere. So they can create stuff out of nowhere, but it's just their consistency, really, Edinburgh. I think they've slipped down the table a little bit. But yeah, they put on a decent performance, but Munster are really hard to beat in Thomond Park. I think that's 6 from 6 wins now in a row in Thomond Park, which is great to see. It's starting becoming a fortress again now, isn't it, Jason?
It is, of course. Exeter to come now in a few weeks' time. Let's see how much of a fortress it is then. But faith in them.
Okay, we're going to jump into the Leinster v Ospreys match. They're top of the league now with a bonus point victory beating Ospreys 29-7. Jason, what do you think of that match?
Yeah, well done. Good ball point. Next game.
Why do you hate Leinster so much, man?
We really do.
It's more envy, is it?
Yeah, they played really, really well. It was great to see Lowe back in the pitch. That was kind of one of the big talking points. Yeah. And everyone's already been like, oh, James Lowe's going to be back in the Irish squad straight away. But what did you make of the match?
Oh, yeah, it was excellent. Like, they always seem to perform very well. But, like, it's kind of the entertaining, exciting rugby you want to see, like James Lowe with that goose step and the finish and everything. It's like, James Lowe. You know?
Well, he marked his return really well after that.
He did. It was pure skill as well.
I wasn't sure whether it was a really cocky step or like really flamboyant. Just seems to be the way he is.
That's the way he plays with a smile on his face. Like, that's super rugby. Like, and the way I look at that is forget about the defence. Like, just appreciate the attack because it was class.
Unreal.
Cool to watch. Even though it was terrible.
Yeah, it was quite like, he's from New Zealand. They were very expressive down there. Like, he did the goose step about 5 meters too early, and your man still
bought it.
He sold down the river. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, but it was a great little finish, and he ran the whole pitch. So he's obviously fit. He was able to sprint all the meters.
Yeah, he looks like he's in great shape.
Yeah. So do you think he'll get into the Six Nations squad? We'll see him now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I like that positivity. Yeah. Who's he going to go in for?
I don't know. I'm not going to make the swap, but I think he'll get in.
Yeah. And another winger that performed really well was Larmer. He had a great game.
Yeah, he scored a nice try. That's one thing about that game. There's 3, 4, 5 good tries in that game. It was a really good game, really high tempo.
Yeah.
We have the Larmer try here, actually.
Yeah.
Lovely kick through.
Great kick through by Harry Byrne.
It's ridiculous acceleration to get there. The speed he gets it because he's well behind the two lads in the first place. He does well to get it and does well to finish.
His pace definitely proved it.
10 metre acceleration to get off the line.
Yeah, incredible.
He makes that look a lot easier than it is.
We made Rhys Webb look so slow there.
Yeah.
Looked like he was running on quicksand.
It was great vision from Ross there. He had a really great game, didn't he? He was kicking really well.
I always thought you would have put Harry at 10 and Ross at 12. So it was funny to see Ross at 10 but then Harry gets man of the match then at 12. So it's an interesting one to get two lads on the pitch. Like, it's funny having your the two brothers, like first and second.
It's
receiver.
really nice. Like they know each other inside out to play off each other. It must be like really nice to play with your brother as well.
Yeah.
Good
Like the
chemistry. You can see it.
communication and everything like just comes way more naturally.
Yeah, 100%. I actually thought they got man of the match wrong because I thought Ross Byrne had an unbelievable game. They both just played
Yeah, he did
incredible.
really good.
Yeah. So like obviously just another great Leinster win, very dominant. We have some stats to go with that as well. 58% possession for Leinster. There was 10 offloads to only Ospreys 3 offloads, and Ospreys had to make 149 tackles, and Leinster only had to make 81. So
Pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Pretty dominant performance.
It was really poor from Ospreys at times, especially from Ethan Roots, not claiming that ball from the kickoff in the air. It looked like he was afraid of the ball, which meant that Jamie Osborne got that lovely try. It was a great follow through and picked it up.
yeah.
Just a really, really easy try for Leinster. It wasn't needed, but Ospreys, I just felt like they were not aggressive enough in the contact area and just they weren't coming up fast enough and really soft defence.
Yeah, exactly. Another good try in the game was from Rhys Webb, where he found a little gap there, which is uncharacteristic of Leinster to have the gap there,
Yeah,
wasn't it?
absolutely. I'd say they're going to kill themselves over that one. You never see that. Like.
I know, it's very, very
Straight
unlike
through the
them.
middle,
It was good vision from Rhys Webb, and to finish it as well.
Yeah,
to step,
Luke McGrath clutching onto him, not quite there.
I know. We had Luke on the show here 2 weeks ago.
Sorry,
as well,
Luke.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Luke.
sorry.
Yeah.
Put that.
In fairness to like the last time the two of them met in the RDS, Ospreys beat them. So I think they were kind of out to prove a point and go, we're going to
took
smash
their
these guys this week.
opportunities,
How often do the Leinster lose in the RDS? I'd say you can count on one hand over the last 3 or 4 seasons how many times they have. So
We haven't spoke about because Dave Kearney came back a couple of weeks ago. What do you think of making him be back on the wing?
Kearney's still playing well. In fairness, what age is he now? Is he 33, 34? He's been riddled with injuries, but he always manages to get back. And when he gets back, he's
He had a really good game.
a good player. He's still a good player. Like he's a good provincial player. Like I think he's international career is over at this stage, but good player for Leinster to have back.
Yeah, we should have fellas like that. Internationals just
Experience.
exactly like people like Adam Byrne there, Roy Loughlin, all those lads are there. Irish internationals. It's just Leinster at the top of the league now. Do you think they're going to stay there and that'll be it for the season?
I'd say
We'll have to see what happens this weekend because Ulster are playing this afternoon.
Yeah.
Not sure where they're standing in the table
They're
now.
just behind
fourth.
them, so they
Are
can overtake them. So if they win it. So
Yeah, but great. Irish
Interesting to
province is in a very good place at the moment, so hopefully it stays that way. But less about the analysis and let's move on to one of my favourite parts of the show, is figuring all the stuff out about our lovely guest, Dorothy Wall. We have 10 questions for you.
Okay, I'm
Are
ready.
you ready to go? Yeah. I promise they won't be too bad.
Okay.
The first one is quite one interesting one for me as well. How did you handle the transition between 7s and 15s?
Pretty well, I think. In terms of like when I first got into the Irish 15 squad in 2019, obviously going from 7s to becoming a back row forward, there's a lot of difference in liner technicality and scrum, etc. and that sort of stuff. So that's a lot of detail that I've kind of had to pick up along the way. And I came in very raw in terms of that.
Yeah.
But from the 7s, in terms of like catch pass, like work rate, making your tackles, like I think that's very transferable. So that was definitely a huge benefit for me coming into the 15s.
Did you feel like the 7s did really improve your game? Because fellas like Will Connors, who we've had on, and Hugo Keenan, they swear by the 7s and increasing their skills.
I wouldn't be the same player if I hadn't. Like it's like an academy setup, which the girls don't have for 15. So like you're in there 40 days a week, like you're grafting away, like it's skills under fatigue. It's exactly what you need going into any sort of performance team. So yeah, definitely got me to where I was.
Yeah, I remember. So I was in the 7s for the last couple of years, and you were obviously with the women's, and you were always doing extras in the gym. Like anytime you walk in, Dorothy, you walk in, and Dorothy being on the bike.
Take it.
Honestly, genuinely, I got to say, it was like, surely Dorothy's not still in the gym, is she?
Oh my God.
Yeah, but like it obviously paid off for you.
Yeah. No, I'm enjoying my
Genuine. In the lads team, it was a bit like, sure, Dorothy's in the gym again.
Stop your line.
I swear to God, you want to walk like in the
Come
corner.
on, lads, you got to work
And look
harder.
at her now, she got players and young players, so look, it obviously paid off.
That's great.
That's stuff we don't see. But Pat has a question in from social media. He wants to know, who is your favourite teammate?
My favourite teammate.
Careful now.
Oh, that's a good one.
The question now, like whoever you say, like, you can't win this. Like.
I know. I think Laura Healy. She's probably one of the most knowledgeable people I know. She's like, her people skills in terms of how she reads people and like how she can communicate different things with people is on such a level in terms of like getting the team to a different level. And she's a loose head, so there's so much like detail in terms of what she does in the front row, and I feel like that can be very underrated sometimes. So like in terms of her knowledge of how to work forwards around the pitch, and she's also one of my best friends. So
Oh, that's lovely. Yeah, she's a lovely girl.
she's great.
Yeah. I have a question as well for you. What advice would you give to young girls who want to get involved in rugby?
I would say go for it and make sure that you have fun. Like, I think when you're younger, like, the only reason you're going to keep playing is if you enjoy it. So there's no point being too hard on yourself early on. So I'd say just try and enjoy it, like have a good group around you, and, you know, take the wins and the losses, because that'll kind of build up your resilience into when you get into a more serious level.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that.
Lovely stuff, yeah. You've had a really good time with women's rugby as well. You made loads of good friends and stuff. It's a nice setup to be in.
Oh, it's a fantastic setup. Like, it's important to like keep your friendship up throughout, you know, after rugby as well. And I've fallen short a little bit on that just because I've had a family and things, and, you know, being back involved with House of Rugby and, you know, talking to you before the show, it's, friendship is the main thing while you do it.
Yeah,
like,
you want to
your
play
love
for the people
friends.
around you.
Yeah,
so like that's the
it's
difference.
so important, like to just keep those friendships going.
That's lovely.
You'll be back soon.
Well, next question we have for you, Dorothy, is your standout moment in an Irish jersey.
Probably my first cap back in February 2020. Junior Ciara Griffin, our recently retired captain, she had like food poisoning or something, but she played the first half anyway. Wow. And it was my first cap, and they were like, right, Junior's getting sick, you're on for 40 minutes. And I wasn't meant to get 40 minutes at all. I'd say I was more of a 15-20 minute kind of job. Ease me into it. But yeah, I got on.
Baptism of fire. Baptism of fire.
Yeah, exactly. So got on for 40 minutes, and I think I got up and made a few hits that kind of settled me, and kind of didn't do anything exceptional, didn't do anything too bad. And, you know, my parents were there, and my dad said he nearly lost it when he saw me coming in at the half. He was so scared that I was going to do something really bad. He was like, didn't expect me to be on for that long. But yeah, no, definitely my favourite moment.
Lovely.
Who were you playing against for that game?
Scotland.
Oh, that's a good
big game to come into,
yeah.
Big game, like to start your first game, but or coming off the bench your first game. But World Rugby have recently announced a new annual women's 15s tournament. What do you think of that in terms of how it's going to help the growth of the game?
We just need games. Like, it's just like you see the lads like Munster, Leinster, Connacht, like the young lads coming up, they're getting high quality games like week in, week out. And that's the difference between the men's and women's game. It's actual game time. It's not learning these mistakes on an international platform in a Six Nations. It's learning them week to week for your club. So I think that's like, this is obviously an international thing, but I think game time is just something that we desperately need. So it's very positive.
Excellent.
It's really important that you say that, because you're 100% right. It is that game time that some international players who are getting like their first caps have missed out on. Do you know? So it's really, really important. Like you said,
I got my first club cap there about 3 weeks ago 3-4 weeks ago for Blackrock.
Wow.
So, yeah.
No way.
Yeah.
3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
You played for Ireland before playing club rugby?
Yeah.
You're joking. That is mad.
Yeah, so I suppose that's something that needs to be fixed.
Yeah, like that would never happen in the men's game.
No, like that's it. So like the routes through which the men's go through, like club, you know, sub academy to like playing the big provincial matches to possibly an Irish squad. I suppose it's not the same, but we're working to get to
That's
similar
what we need
place.
to get set up. Like,
yeah, absolutely.
And do you think there's enough girls playing rugby to create a setup like that?
I think there's more and more coming up through the underage ranks. Like there's huge work going in at grassroots, like to get like under 8s, under 10s, under 12s, and trying to like prevent that drop off from like secondary school to college, or like under 14 or under 16, where girls like, you know, their friends may not be playing, it may not be the done thing at the time. So I think people are trying really hard to push that. So hopefully it'll pay dividends in a few years to come.
You'd have to think as well, if that pathway is there properly, you're going to get more women playing rugby. If they know what there's a setup there that's built for them. It's
also the media coverage as well. It's been like it's progressively better over the last few years. So if they can see it, then that's really important.
Of course, definitely.
Huge. So how difficult has it been to balance your college work with your demands that is playing international rugby?
Yeah, I suppose it's like, I definitely, like in my first 2 years of sevens, like I'd never really experienced the hard work that goes in. Like we were absolutely flattened. I remember being 18 and just like panned out for the day because you're so tired, like not used to that level of training or anything. Like the three of us, myself, Emily and Megan Burns, they're both in the sevens as well. And we just used to be panned out, like we were wrecked. But then we got used to that level of like training and conditioning. So you kind of get acclimatized to it, and more kind of went into the college aspect of it then. But I recently left the sevens, so kind of focusing on 15s and getting my degree so I can, be more of an adult.
But you're studying radiology, is that right? at
Radiography.
UCD? Radiography,
Yeah.
sorry,
So,
yeah.
I'm in my
enjoying
third year. Yeah, it's been, UCD have been really good to me in terms of like matches and different things I've missed and letting me make up hospital placement and stuff like that. So hopefully we'll keep going and get it done.
So you've left the sevens program now, and you're just doing 15s in college.
Yeah.
And are you working as well on top of that?
I'm kind of like, I had a job there during the summer, but I haven't gone back to it yet. I'm kind of, once the AIL final is over, I might kind of think about getting a job then. But for now, I'm just trying to probably get my exams, Six Nations, hopefully win this.
You've enough on your plate.
And balance it all, yeah.
I'll need to at some stage. Like,
Have a career. Long finger.
Do you think you struggled to balance it with the sevens? Did you? Was it too intense?
Like so many people do it. Like I think if it is hard, but like the amount of successful people that are in the program or that play professional sport, I wouldn't really use as an excuse. It's probably more your organization around it, which granted probably could have been better for me in the past, but you kind of learn as you go, I feel.
Yeah.
So
It's definitely is doable, like, but it's just you're spinning a lot of plates and you have to be very on top of your stuff.
You have to be careful of burnout. Like you have to be careful that you don't let yourself get to a place where you're not enjoying anything because you're so tired.
Exactly.
So you kind of need to self-preserve, I think.
And that's not even bringing in your private life, but the difficulty must be like you're at the top of your game. You're arguably the best women's player at the moment, and like you're seeing lads playing Six Nations, and just they don't have to go do work. Like, do you find that hard to see that side of things?
Like it is the difference in the two games, but
like you're still training just as much as Bundy Aki and Joshua Van der Vlier.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And I suppose that's kind of, but like I suppose I've never played for the money. That's never been it. Obviously, you want to be on a par and you want that to become how it is.
Yeah.
I don't begrudge the men's teams for having that because I feel like that wouldn't do me good right now in terms of I'm kind of focusing on my own process and what I can do myself, get through my college and things. I wouldn't say it's like a begrudgement. It's more of how we need to progress to get to that stage.
Yeah, brilliant.
On the back of that, just saying, probably even if you were in a full-time contract anyway, you'd still want something for yourself, like to go to college and get the qualifications and things that you'd won. So at least you had that balance, you could do that now as well.
A rugby career only lasts so long.
Exactly.
You really have to think about your end goal and where you want to be, what career you want to have.
Yeah.
So
I'm sure someone like Lindsay Peat like playing well into her 40s.
Exactly.
she's an animal.
She's still going.
You know what I mean? How is she still going? Was she on this weekend?
She wasn't. No,
Was
I'd
she
say
though?
they're arresting her and keeping her for next weekend.
A machine.
Oh, giving out secrets there now. Right? Yeah. So next question is from Stacey Flood, your teammate. Yeah. And she wants to know, can you show us your pinky finger?
Oh yeah, this is my pinky.
Oh my God.
Oh,
Yeah,
The top of it's completely bent over.
And then my joint is actually fused. I broke it in the qualifying tournament in Parma way back in September. So I had 2 surgeries on it. And I was out of rugby for a while there after that kind of.
Jesus.
Oh my God. Is it a complete right angle? Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, you
So,
got
like,
like
bend it.
thing.
No, like the surgeons kind of came into me and were like, like it's good. You're going to need a surgery in like 10
Eventually.
years when your playing career is over. Like you can strap it for now. And I was like, great.
do you just
I'll
strap
worry
it?
about that when I'm
You can
30.
get through it.
Do you strap it now for every match? You have to have it strapped? Or
Yeah,
you have to have
like
it
it doesn't impinge me too much. Like I
Okay.
can still lift in the gym and stuff. Like it's not the prettiest. But,
Dorothy, I've done similar. I've had surgery on mine. So it does get better.
this looks great.
Like you see it?
And the big diamond ring was like
Sorry guys.
It does get better. Anyways, get on.
Yeah, I'm
But,
not too worried. It's fine. Like
But put up both your hands. Stacey even messaged me saying something about what fake tan are you using at the moment for the matches.
Stacey is absolutely ripping into me.
Well, she had Coco Brown sending fake tan years ago into
Oh yeah, it's essential for the
It's
match
the same one
day
you use,
prep.
Greg, isn't it?
Yeah, the exact same one.
Same one I use in my beard as well. Yeah. Coco Brown, perfect. Anyway, moving on. We got another a good question here, an interesting one actually. Our friends over in House of Rugby UK, Sean O'Brien and Alex Gould, had the CEO of World Rugby on recently, Alan Gilpin, and we see how England and France are flying ahead with their professional women's teams and how well they're doing. He suggested that Irish players should go over and play their rugby in England or France. What do you think of that?
Yeah, sure, that's a very easy, flippant thing to say, but there's a life as well for players. There's a college degree, there's family, friends. And should we have to leave the country to play for different clubs in England and France?
No.
Like, I think the goal now is to get the AIL to the level where it's on a par with these English and French clubs. And it may take a while, but I think the investment needs to be in the AIL for us for the next while to get it to that level, so that Irish players are playing in Ireland and getting good quality game time to fuel provincial and Irish teams from there.
I think this definitely is the year for that, though. You can feel it, and even in the media and speakers in the breaks during the week, you know, you can see that we're building a phase now. Do you know, now that we haven't got the World Cup, we're starting to build the young players like yourself to get that experience. And I think it's great that some of the players are over in London getting the exposure to that Premiership.
Oh, absolutely.
But if we keep our best, let's be selfish and just keep our best players here and create that Premiership style over here for the AIL, which I think it has the potential to do, then women's rugby is going to be flying.
These things take time, guys. We forget sometimes that,
is time,
even just
literally,
men's rugby in general only like turned professional properly in 95, rolling into 97. Like, the game is still in its infancy, and look how long it took the men's game to get to where it is.
Yeah.
You know, the men's game has only really gotten big since the last 10, 15 years, if that. So like the women's game is only really starting to get big in that time. So it's going to take time for all this to come in, but it seems like the right steps are being moved, even though we've got flipping comments like that from the CEO of our rugby. Like, but
I know, like, I don't mean flippant, but
you're right,
there's a lot more factors than just move overseas to play, because it's like you need to get back for Six Nations camps, you have a job, you have college requirements. It's not always as easy. Like, there's great players over in England, and to be fair, like, the experience they get is invaluable that they bring back into camp, and they're playing at that level every week. But I suppose it's not as easy.
It's not realistic for most people. Most players.
I don't think so. Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah, so there's been a lot of changes in the women's team recently in relation to coaching. Leah Briggs has come in. What do you make of all that? How's the vibe in the team at the moment?
It's really exciting. So we've had like a few skill sessions and stuff like that, and you know what Greg is implementing is really good for, you know, our catch pass and kind of varying our skills and how we're going to play. And I think those of us who've been there before, it's nearly uncomfortable because he's pushing us to a place we haven't been.
Yeah.
So I suppose that's also the nature of, you know, elite sport, that you need to be pushed to a place where your skills are, you know, questioned, and how you play is questioned. And I think he's definitely going to do that to us and bring on a whole new crop of players.
Is he bringing in a new way of playing really for you?
Yeah, like we haven't, obviously we had one screening camp and then we're into our Six Nations camp, so there hasn't been it's kind of been more just play, like, and he's trying to just get some core stuff into us, which you can be seen coming out in the AIL, so it's very exciting.
Yeah, and how do you think the Six Nations will go for you?
Hard to know. I couldn't tell you right now. It's definitely a building process for us right now. I'm excited for it. I feel positive about it. It's, you know, it's our baby steps of building. So it'll be all about playing for each other and, you know, the culture within the team and stuff. So I'm excited to kick into that sort of stuff.
Yeah. I'm excited to see it myself because there's been so much talk about the women's rugby for the last couple of months. All the issues, all the investigations, all this stuff. Yeah. Now you have a nice group of girls, great coaches, and there's a big tournament coming. Like, so I think there's going to be a lot of eyes. It's exciting.
Like, it's not all negative. Like, we want to play as well, and I think it can, you know, my mindset is very much positive to actually get on the pitch and show what we're made of.
Yeah, I love that, because there has been a lot of negative media chat, and people do forget that you're all enjoying your rugby. You love being part of the Irish squad, and it's not all...
We do because we love the sport.
Exactly.
Like, so that's kind of, that's the end of the story, really. Like, we want to enjoy our sport.
I have a final question for you, Dorothy. So what is more important to you, winning your Young Player of the Year, Players Player of the Year awards, or being announced as the joint winner of Butler's Bar Feathered Sports Annual Award 2021?
Oh, you put me on the spot here. No comment.
I have to ask, what's that second award? Sorry.
It's the sports bar at home. My dad would be very friendly with the guy who owns it and stuff, so they love getting, I was like joint, they love this now, joint yearly winner with Ben Cohn, a jockey from home. So they brought us in and my dad was presenting the trophy.
Oh, that's
real nepotism, kind of.
We're all about grassroots rugby here at Bank of Ireland and stuff, and you saw that with Dingle last week, so that's more important. Like, it's club game is where it starts.
Don't tell RPI now.
Club game is where it starts. There'd be no RPI if there wasn't a club game. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Shout out to the dads. Where's your trophies at home?
He kind of likes to keep he kind of stores the jerseys away, and he takes the medals and the things and he stores them away, and he's going to get them all framed in this. I don't know. I just leave them at it.
Very proud.
Proud dad.
That's
Good to
so
see you.
cute.
Proud dad. But a couple more URC matches we're going to get onto. Thanks for the questions. Hope you enjoyed
Yes.
it.
Yeah, I did. Thank
Thanks,
you.
Sarah.
Excellent. But first up, big win for Connacht against Scarlets. Their first time beating Scarlets and in the Park of Scarlets ever.
Yeah, 29-23 Connacht won. Because I think they've lost something like, I'm going to throw it out there, 6 of their last away wins or away matches, and they've only won now again away in Parky Scarlets, first time ever. So good performance, but I'm pretty sure Scarlets were quite depleted. 19 players missing, 13 of them injured, and 6 away in the Welsh squad. So maybe kind of a black asterisk beside that away win.
Come here. Connacht are missing a few players as well, in fairness. And like, you know, the likes of Super Mac Hansen and Bundy Aki and stuff like that. Big players, empty missing. So
Yeah.
still
13 players is a lot.
13 is a lot, yeah.
Injured. Wow.
Yeah, it's crazy. But they played well. There was a really Tom Daly was back in the centre, had a great game. Did you see that the crossfield kick, the mess up?
Yeah,
in
that
the
he
Scarlets?
plucked from the air. Yes.
Oh my God. It's
You'd be
like
kicking yourself.
going to be killed on Monday morning review for that
I'd
one.
say
But I think
so.
he saw the physio on the pitch and he was like, oh, Connacht must not be ready to go, so I'll do something quick
Yeah.
here. Kicked it directly at the physio.
Yeah.
Tom Daly plucks it out of the air and just gives it to Sam Arnold. Sam Arnold scores again. Sam Arnold can't stop scoring nowadays. Yeah.
It's a shame he's going to breathe next year. Isn't it? Like, I'm surprised, maybe, obviously.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I'm disappointed because he's playing good rugby here at the moment, and he never really got that chance in the Ireland squad. He's been close. He's been in camps. Good
Yeah,
player.
I chatted to Sammy today. I've been good mates with him. I lived with him for 2 years back in Munster.
Well,
and,
how much? How much did he get him?
He's doing all right
Big
in relation to the
bucks.
contracts now, in fairness to him. But because he's well able to play at that level, and he has his Irish cap, and I think he's quite satisfied. He played for Ireland. He really enjoyed his time at Connacht, and he just wants to experience life. And that's what he said to me. He's like, man,
Can't begrudge him that.
he's like, I don't need to live in
have to
Ireland all my
quantify
life.
it.
Yeah, I want to go to France.
Absolutely.
I think he's moving over with his missus over there. Just a new way of life, like so.
He's dead right.
Yeah, he is dead right, and he said he might move on to Japan after that or something else
Yeah.
and make the most out of it while he
May
can.
as well.
Paddy
Yeah.
Butler's
career,
playing over in Japan now as
definitely.
well. So
Exactly, yeah.
Former Shannon man.
Yeah, exactly. Good Shannon man. So they're like Ireland's great and there's great, but if you're not really getting into the Irish squad,
There's more to it.
do you need to be sitting
Yeah.
in Munster? Like, do you know what I mean? You don't
It's a
have to
life
go
experience,
Connacht
and as you said, like it's probably better money as well, and it's different. It's yeah.
To quantify it.
Yeah,
all, I guess.
same with
If you can
Alton
go.
Delan, who's going over to
La Rochelle, isn't it?
La Rochelle.
That'd be fantastic for
Do you know what I
him.
mean?
Like, yeah.
What a lifestyle
Yeah.
choice! Like to be able to have the opportunity to go over and do something like that. Like so.
That's what you want.
Yeah, 100%. But anyway,
did
back
you-
to the game.
I know, but did you find Connacht were really implementing the same kind of back moves as the Irish team? So obviously Jack Carthy was back. How do you think he got on? I
Yeah.
found like he was a little bit frustrated at times. You know, when the balls went down, you could see his kind of reactions. He's getting frustrated when things weren't going his way.
Yeah.
You know, especially after last week, you know, he's 96 camo
Yeah.
for Ireland. I feel bad for him a little bit. He's getting a bit of bad press.
Yeah.
You know, he's in the firing line again,
He
isn't he?
did seem a little bit frustrated on the pitch,
Yeah.
didn't he? I think just things weren't going his way, but
I just feel like, I mean, like look what happened with Ireland, like the 2 chances he's had, what happened with the World Cup, and then last week, then they coming on, or sorry, 2 weeks ago coming on, and that throwing that forward pass like straight on the pitch, like
yeah.
he can't seem to catch a break with Ireland. Maybe that's affecting him a bit mentally. I don't
Yeah,
know.
but I'd say he's actually grand. Like he got into the Irish team, he got his cap. Obviously, it wasn't ideal, like, but you know, you can't expect to come on and play unbelievable straight away.
Yeah.
And he's playing well with Connacht, so I'd say he's fine. It's just it was a wet day as well over in Scarlets, cold wet day, so I'd say he'd be grand.
Huge moment at the beginning, the first try, Johnny Williams. That was a massive try
Yeah.
from him. It was something that he would do for Wales. So you've seen him
Yeah.
do that against England a couple of times.
Yeah.
The chip through, yeah,
Yeah.
it was very good. Very,
Slowly,
yeah.
yeah.
It was very, very well done. But Connacht had no one in the back line or the backfield there, which I thought was quite mad. There was no covering blindside wing or.
They were coming up really, really hard in defence, which kind of left that back real empty. Like you said, it was great vision.
Great vision. I suppose Kieran Marmon
you
was
have-
there
Kick it
either.
through.
Would you have someone covering there when you're that far in your own
No,
22?
yeah, I suppose they had the 15 up on the line, like so. I suppose
Yeah.
it's how you want to play. Do you keep?
You wouldn't
like-
expect them to kick from that proximity.
wouldn't.
yeah.
I
No.
wouldn't expect the fullback to be there now.
Yeah, but you'd always want someone kind of half aware of
that
it, like
sort of
something.
situation,
Yeah,
yeah.
Kieran Marmion even like coming around. He's obviously going to be sweeping there
Yeah.
somewhere, and it was his actually 200 cap. Another player this weekend who had a 200 cap, so it's himself. David Coyne and Sean Cronin, I believe, was 200 cap as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's great to see all these lads getting 200 cap. Fair play to them.
A lot of games of
That's a
rugby.
lot of games of rugby.
You know what I mean? It really is. Like
Yeah.
one more game anyway was Glasgow and Bennett, and not too much to talk about there, but Glasgow doing well. Glasgow up second in the table, 5 wins on the trot. Could be their season. It could be a dark horse there, like to maybe pip the likes of Leinster Ulster to the title.
Yeah, they were going well. Glasgow had a good game. I know they're only going up against Benetton, but they still played really well. They're is it Smith was the fullback for them.
Yeah, he was very
He
impressive.
had an unbelievable game.
His try was like boshing forwards out of the way. It's pretty impressive.
Yeah, he boshing 2 forwards out of the way. I think we have that for one of the try of the week nominations. But he scorched up the pitch at one stage as well. So he has power and speed.
Yeah.
So he was really impressive. And Benetton just weren't up for it. You know.
Cardiff were due to play Edinburgh as well, but unfortunately that was called off due to the bad weather. But we're just getting the Ulster score in. Obviously, we're filming this on a Sunday. 12-0 win for them, so they're after overtaking Leinster in the top of the URC table. Leinster have a game in hand there, but not bad.
Brilliant.
Old Darren Cavan, absolutely delighted. You won't be there for long, Darren, but sure look.
Yeah, it's a great win. That's all Irish provinces won this weekend, so good stuff for Irish rugby, yeah.
Excellent. Moving on, we'll just have a look back. We haven't done this properly in a while because of the cancellations in the Six Nations, but we've got 3 cracking tries to look at for the try of the week. First up, this absolute beauty from James Lowe. So Lowe obviously making his comeback through injury and the most outrageous go step you're ever going to see.
Nice poor defence from that winger though. Come on.
Super rugby rules. You just forget about the defence and you just appreciate the attack.
Yeah, fair. A shout out to Ross Byrne as well, having the balls to do the kick, cross kick there in the 22.
Yeah.
Very true.
Yeah, on the money to Jimmy and then...
This angle is ridiculous. Look at it. Yep.
The winger didn't want to tackle him at all.
Yeah. Great stuff. Fresh legs off the bench. Scores a try back off injury. So
it looks even better with the hair because the hair bouncing.
Yeah, in the same match then we have a Reece Webb try. He goes in from 40 metres out. Goes in a gap there, a pillar, and then does Lukey McGrath, friend of the show.
Luke.
Yeah, and in for a try, which is great. Great finish. International winger though, like he's incredible, Reece Webb. So
that's a nice step in fairness.
Yeah, it was.
He's looking very tan,
Luke got like a little bit hard-footed there, didn't he?
Yeah.
And the third one, the one I mentioned earlier, Johnny Williams opening try for Scarlets. Lovely kick through. Yeah, great vision and.
That's a lovely take. That's a lovely finish. Really nice finish. The kick is beautiful. The finish, fantastic.
Yeah, he's done it a couple of times for Wales and stuff. So it's that will definitely be an analysis for any team coming up against Scarlets.
Dorothy, we'll ask you first. Who are you voting for?
Reece Webb.
Reece Webb?
Yeah.
Craig?
I have to go for James Lowe on his return.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with you, Greg. James Lowe, I like that.
I'll give it to Lowe, so I'm sorry.
I knew.
I
knew the three.
Otherwise, we're going to have to divide it up then, and then we've got 2 winners. Like, so, do you know what? I'm going to give it to Johnny Williams.
All right, but James Lowe wins anyway. So yeah, good stuff.
Moving on, my favourite award, the Jukebox of the Week. First up is this Mike Collins textbook tackle on Jimmy O'Brien. I love to see stuff like this. So kick in behind here. It's just.
It's a great kick by Jimmy O'Brien. In fairness to him, find a space down in the flanks there, but he just gets caught.
It's just good. It's a nice, good legal tackle. It hits him nice and hard, and 2 arms wrapped around. It's good. It's a good smash.
Little basic tackle.
Yeah. Next one is from Ollie Smith. He's actually carrying the ball here. He bursts through 2 players, one of them being a second row, and finishes it off. So great aggression and strength there from the Glasgow 15.
Jeez, like your 15 blowing through a second row like that. He's a big boy in fairness, but that's an impressive finish.
And the third one is Cian Healy's carry in the build-up for Lamar's try against Ospreys.
Healy obviously out to prove a point. Like, I mean, he hasn't got much of a run at the moment. That's tough with Porter and Furlong there at the moment.
Lovely bit of leg drive.
Yeah, Cian Healy played well. He scored a try in that game as well. But who'd you vote for? Jukebox of the week?
Cian Healy.
Cian Healy, nice.
Nice carry.
I want to give it to the Ollie Smith one because I just love the fact that he blows a second round of it and he's a full back.
Yeah. Megan?
I'm going to go with Mike Collins. I love just a basic good tackle. And yeah, really simple.
Really?
You've got to side both.
Different.
Definitely Ollie Smith. Like for 15 to do that to a second row, it's just serious strength. So.
Ollie Smith it is, guys. Ollie Smith it is.
Nice.
Well, moving on to other news, guys. Obviously, we've spoken about the Women's Six Nations, but only a month or so to go now. How are you feeling about the campaign coming up?
Yeah, I'm really excited. I'm looking forward to getting into the Six Nations camps and seeing what he wants out of us and what we can do and what personnel is going to be there and how we can work towards a good Six Nations. Really, really excited.
A really exciting point is TikTok have come on as the main sponsors. I must be showing my age now because I've never used TikTok. Ever.
It's really addictive.
Or I'm just really lame.
Yeah.
It is. It's
Is it good?
I've never used it up until about 2 weeks ago when we started to use it for rugby, Joe, and it is, It's very much a younger audience, but it's fun.
I feel like it's
very
the
addictive.
up and coming kind of platform, definitely.
But it's great to see, if the younger generation know about TikTok, then they'll know about the rugby.
Yeah, no, it's great.
TikTok are
Loads of
absolutely
ads.
massive. Like it's huge money coming into the women's game. You've also got the fact that it's going to be on RT and Virgin, so it's going to be
It's exactly what we
excellent
need.
coverage. Like that's what you need: more eyes, more money, more bums and
This
seats.
is it. This
You know what I mean?
is
This is what it's all about. Like, and this is what's going to grow the game. This is how the men's
Yeah.
game grew, and this is how the women's game is
Yeah,
going
it's
to grow.
brilliant.
And do you feel a little bit of pressure now that you obviously spoke up and you get what you deserve now? Sponsorships coming in, viewership's coming in. Now you have to like perform. Is there a pressure there for that, or do you feel whatever happens happens?
I feel like there's a pressure to perform always. I suppose I don't really think about it like that, and I think if you do, sometimes you can kind of wind yourself into a place that isn't the most positive in terms of how you're going to play. So
Yeah.
no, I haven't thought about that. I suppose I'm just gonna try and play as I usually do, and I think the team ethos should follow that as well.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Rather than focusing on kind of outward stuff.
And
talking
how
about
is the team ethos there? Is it good group of
Good.
girls?
The screening camp I was in there a few weeks ago it was really nice. Like to meet players I hadn't met before. Like there's serious skill set like all over the country and everything, and I really enjoyed it. Like there wasn't like everyone was chatting. Like it was very good vibes in there. Just everyone trying to get the best out of the few days that they had. So
Class.
yeah,
It's nice
a
to
really
see-
good crew of girls. I think definitely.
It's nice to see other players, like you said, you haven't seen before.
Yeah,
to put
absolutely.
their hand up and get a chance to try and get into the squad. I think that's what's paramount for the success.
It's really
to give
important.
opportunities.
Yeah, absolutely. Like it's fresh. I suppose that's kind of what he's looking at everyone. So it's great.
Definitely.
Another important thing as well, RTE and Virgin Media are making it free and available for everyone to watch. How important do you think that is, for it to be access to everybody?
Oh yeah, like that's the little girls and stuff who can see it at home, and other people who may not have known much about the women's rugby, just for it to be on TV more and for media to be covering it more is just good. It's great. Like it's another step in the right direction.
And what's the hope for the tournament? Do you think can win it or?
Obviously that's always the goal. I think it's going to be ticking off small goals ourselves, getting our processes right, in terms of what he wants from us and what we want out of each match. I think it's going to be small goals and small wins for us that will lead to big wins. So
Yeah.
right now I couldn't tell you because we actually haven't been in, but in terms of my own mindset, it's going to be ticking off small things to get to a bigger thing.
Might be a cliche, like, but it's as with the men. I'm sure the men, they went into the Six Nations, they wanted to win it. But you take it week by week. Like, of course you want to win it.
Yeah.
And of course, but you take it a game. Like, it's all you can do is take it game by game and see what
it has
happens.
to be the small wins that get you to the overall.
You have to be realistic as well, you're in that kind of building phase. And like this, during the
Absolutely.
week, I got to speak to Niamh Briggs and she gave us a little insight to where you guys are at, a little bit about yourself as well, Dorothy, and the expectations she has for the camp.
We've got to be very aware that and very realistic in terms of our goals that we're going to set for ourselves. That's something I'm sure we'll do over the first camp or two. The likes of England, France, Scotland, Wales, they're all going. Italy, they're going to a World Cup in September. We're not, so we're in a building phase. We're in a very much a developmental rebuilding, and that's fine with us. And we just got to look after ourselves. We've got to concentrate on making sure that that we're building nicely in terms of getting players up to international test level as quickly as possible, which is a big challenge, and making sure that we give them enough tools to be able to quit themselves the most. Yeah, I met Dorothy Wall for the first time when she was in secondary school in Rockwell. I coached her for a little bit, and she blew me away because even when she was in secondary school, she was as tall and had big shoulders and as physical as she is now. I've been a huge admirer of her as a player, but also as a person. I think that's more important. She's a wonderful role model for young girls and guys. And I know that in Feathered, she's very much a bit of a superstar in Tip.
Dorothy, how do you feel about Niamh Briggs coming on? She's a legend in her own right in the squad as well.
Yeah.
And coming on as your assistant coach, how do you feel about that?
I'm very excited. I'm a huge fan of Briggsy. I think she's a really smart coach who can give a lot to this team and who's been through all the processes, who's been there for years and was really successful with an Irish team. So she knows what it takes to be successful with an Irish women's team, which I think is going to be really important.
That's it, exactly. It's great. I think it's really good having Niamh in there. I know her from the rugby side of things as well, and it's good to have someone in there that's been there and done it, bought the t-shirt. Like she knows what you're thinking. Like it's great. You could have these male coaches coming in, but they haven't done it. Like they haven't been through the women's system.
Absolutely. And she's been successful. Like she knows what it is to be successful. So we need to know what it is to be successful.
And understanding women as well is really important. Like,
very complex.
You know, there's a lot going on. There's so many emotions. It's crazy. Like,
it is true though.
Yeah,
like, you have to be understanding. You're juggling a lot. Like, there's a lot of different.
I'm glad you understand
personalities.
that.
Like,
It's very lucky me you didn't say that.
Funny, I've chatted to a few male coaches that have coached the men's and the women, and they say their mindset going into sessions are completely different, dealing with us to dealing with the women, which I thought was really interesting. Like I'd never thought we'd go down to that little intrinsic details of, we speak to the women in this way, speak to the men in this way, and which just
it's
shows,
actually quite interesting. It will be interesting to know from those coaches' perspectives, like, you know, how to.
Yeah.
It's an interesting one. I think someone should do a study on it.
Exactly. But that's what's great having people like Niamh in, who obviously knows how to chat away to you.
Yeah.
Like, you know, she's been there and done it. But there's the other rugby news to speak about as well, isn't there?
Yeah, moving on, obviously, we flip over to the men's game. This will be obviously disappointment that loss against France, but we get back on the saddle again, and it's up next. It's Italy. Sexton's going to be back fully fit. I personally don't think he should start the game against Italy, but that's another question. Ronan Keller is going to be out, and then we've got do we bring James Lowe in back after that? Yeah. What do you think, Dorothy?
There's a lot of questions there. About the James Lowe.
Well, more so for the Italy game coming up. Do you think they should chop and change it or keep the top team out there?
So he was only just back for Leinster this week.
Yeah.
That's pretty fast. Like, who are you dropping though? Like,
you know what Andy Farrell's like.
I don't think you can drop him. No.
Andy always seems to be really consistent with picking those same squads. You know, you've noticed even last year, like he is. I don't think he's going to change it, to be honest.
Do you think he's going to still go with the full strength squad out against Italy? Yeah, just to keep the cohesion and keep everyone running together. Yeah. I feel there's going to. I probably eat my words now. I come back and say this. I feel he's going to chop and change. He's going to give guys a bit of game time. You're going to see like Robbie Henshaw come in, hopefully get like 60, 70 minutes. People like James Hume get some time. Jack Carty. You'd hope to see that because. Do you know what I mean?
I think it's worth it because then they're taking over. They've had the minutes, so that if they're needed, that they have the test matches under their belt.
That's the thing.
This is a crucial period for Ireland at the moment because you're coming into this New Zealand tour, and lads, the World Cup is only next year. There isn't that many more games, so now is the opportunity. We were only speaking about that last week. The World Cup is next year. It's just because the last 2 years vanished into thin air because of COVID. We're like, oh no. Yeah. So if there's ever an opportunity to get guys more minutes and get them test caps and get them out playing for Ireland. It's now against Italy at home. No offense to Italy.
The tough balance they're going to have, I'd say, is because the boys lost against France, they're all going to be itching to get out there again on the international stage and play well. Yeah. But then you want to play the younger fella as well, like Mike Lowry, give him a few minutes. I don't think he got an Irish cap previously. He hasn't played in the Six Nations yet.
He hasn't.
I think it's actually a perfect opportunity to give those lads a run. Definitely.
Yeah. And obviously you mentioned Ronan Kelleher got injured there. He actually got picked up the knock in the French game. Yeah. He's out for the rest of Six Nations. But
that's disappointing.
Commiserations to him. But then Dan Sheehan played so well in that game.
Not a bad replacement.
That's ridiculous that they're both in Leinster like the two.
Yeah, he wants Dan to go on Munster. It's not a bad idea.
I know.
It isn't.
It's not a bad idea.
I just think the Irish
games.
Separate them, get them both playing every week. And obviously the Munster hookers aren't going to like me saying that, but you know what I mean?
That's what we did with Joey Carberry and it worked. And speaking of the man himself, I actually had an opportunity to chat with him and it looks like he thinks Ireland can still go all the way.
I think we've always got a chance. In previous Six Nations tournaments, it's often come down to the last game and like anything can happen. So I think all we need to do now is focus in on Italy, do the best we can, and then deal with Scotland and then deal with England as well after that. So I suppose there's always a chance, and we're still excited as ever. And obviously we would have liked Saturday to have gone better, but look, we're still in with a chance, so we'll keep going.
Good to chat to a good, honest, born and bred Munster man.
Did he give you much insight during the week?
Yeah, he was good. He's a nice guy to chat to. In fairness to him, just kind of chat. It was for Tackle Your Feelings with the campaign with the Rugby Players Ireland, and obviously there's a guy who's been through a lot in the last 3 years with injuries, and I spoke to him about like how tough it's been for him to deal with all that, and obviously dealing with the pressure of that monkey on his back that he's Johnny Sexton's successor heir to the throne, and just said, look, he's got a good support group around him. he's got like good family, good friends, and he doesn't read too much about this.
It's
Johnny
he's
Sexton.
not paying attention to what they say. Like.
No.
Yeah, I'd know Joey a good few years, and knowing him, he's probably sick to death of being like, who's going to replace the new Johnny Sexton? Like, there's not a new Johnny. He's his own Joey Carver.
Correct, correct.
Absolutely.
Just bring something different. He's been around for years as well now, so it's like, I'd say he's sick to death, but he's obviously not going to go out and say that. Like, you know.
But they used to say that about Ronan O'Gara, didn't they? Johnny Sexton was going to be the new Ronan O'Gara.
Yeah, Johnny Sexton is Johnny Sexton now.
Yeah,
Like,
do you know what I mean?
That's what happens though when you've got it's such a pivotal position at half, and the fact that we have struggled to replace Johnny. Like, it's at the moment, like, we've so many players in so many positions. It's like, okay, what happens when Johnny retires in 10 years' time or whatever? The way he's going at the moment, like, he'll probably still be playing well into his 40s.
Yeah. And Dorothy, how do you think the Six Nations will go for the Ireland men's team?
I think it's positive. Like, I think they're kind of, they had the loss last week, but even in terms of how they were in the November series, I remember Peter O'Mahony speaking after it, and he just was a really good vibe off him in terms of where the Irish team is. So I think they're going to take that loss, and I think they're really going to use it and go well in the next few games. And I think if these new lads like get a run, like, add something more to against Italy, I think it'll be really positive as well. But
Do you think they can win the championship?
I think they do have the potential. Yes. Will they? I'm not sure, but yeah, I think they definitely have the potential to.
You've got to be scared. I think they definitely, as you said, they can go over to England and beat Twickenham.
Absolutely.
They will probably beat Italy at home. They're well capable of beating Scotland. The thing I'd be worried about is France doing a Grand Slam.
Yeah,
It's
France are the major weapon. Like,
Yeah, who's going to stop France now?
I think France are away to England and away to Scotland. I'm pretty sure, which they might slip up, like,
That's the thing, that's the thing. So, but
like France had the first two games were at home, I believe, for France, which is you.
they love a home crowd. Like,
it's a cauldron over there.
My gut feeling says that.
Start to France,
My gut feeling says that France are going to slip up at some way along the way.
Against England?
Somewhere, England or Scotland, I think. Scotland are good.
Scotland have been very good, so an underdog.
It's an interesting one.
They bring random moments of brilliance, don't they?
Yeah.
Especially
the French are always, they love it on pick up. Like, they're as good as they are, they always seem to slip up. And that's when they haven't won a Six Nations now in over a decade. Like, so pressure's on them.
That is.
Wow.
One thing that kind of does worry me about France is that they're so laser focused on the World Cup next year that this is all a massive plan that's been going on. And when the French focus, it's a scary place because they're so good. Like, you know what I mean? So we'll see. But hopefully Ireland can now get all the wins, and we'll see a Six Nations Championship coming home.
Definitely. Some other news. Obviously, Ty Byrne is signing a long-term contract. I love that. Like, so when you think back, like 2016, released by Leinster, 2017, goes to Scarlets to have one more shot, wins the Pro 12. Last year, Lyon, and now he actually got a central contract from Ireland.
Yeah, he's ridiculous.
There's a guy who just didn't give up and just kept at it.
His mentality, must be so strong.
Yeah,
brilliant.
Incredible.
He was working as a pizza delivery driver.
I remember reading that.
Really?
He's come a serious
gave it all up.
Wow.
And he just kept at it. Like, and it's a good success story. Like, that it's never too late, I suppose.
It's true. Yeah. But another contract as well. Josh Van de Flair got offered another contract, which was obvious.
I'd say he got good money this time around. The form he's on at the moment. He was good at the negotiating table. Leo Cullen, another big one as well. Only a year. So he only signed a year contract last year with a rolling contract with an option for another year this year. So that's something to keep an eye on. So he's only contracted until the end of 2023 now. He's keeping his options open. Like, you'd imagine he's someone they'd want to tie down for 3 or 4 years. Is he an eye on somewhere else? Or?
I don't know. I'd say he's just done so well in Leinster. He's done it all. Like, so I'd say he might have his eye somewhere else. Does he want to get the Irish job? I don't never know.
Because you'd imagine they would want to keep him. That's him. I'd say that said he only wanted a year, not Leinster offered. They would offer him much more than a year if they could. So.
I mean, there's only one way for him to go as a coach in Leinster, like, because he's at the top for how many years. So do you know what I mean? Get out while you're on top. But another bit of news was the South Africa joining the Six Nations. Yeah. That the chit chat was that they were going to possibly be joining in 2025, but then the Six Nations came out saying that they're not chatting to them at all. So it's a bit of a he said she said kind of situation, isn't it?
It was the Daily Mail, in fairness, that broke the article saying that Italy were getting thrown out.
You can't believe anything they say.
No offence, but
you've been in the Daily Mail a few times, haven't you?
For the wrong reason.
What's that for saying now?
For the wrong reason.
But I remember doing a poll even on Rugby Joe, and everyone was like, no, like, as much as we complain about Italy and the fact that they can't win to save their lives, you can't just throw them out of Six Nations and go, we want South Africa. Like, you know what I mean?
They always put up a fight though. Like, there's sometimes you don't think you're going to beat Italy because they do start well sometimes, I think, but then they just kind of break down. Like, I think better teams break them down over the course of the 80 minutes.
There's always the argument to have kind of a B Six Nations League. Like, you know, you could have like a Georgia in there, Italy in there. You could have, there's loads of Fiji are playing really well now. There's things like that you could create it, but that's a whole new kettle of fish. There's so much more finances have to do that. But as you said, South Africa joining would be cool, but Italy they won't be able to survive, I don't think.
Yeah. Fortunately, guys, that is all we've got time for. Dorothy, thanks a million for coming on. Hope you enjoyed it.
Thank you very much. I really enjoyed it. Love the chats.
Yeah, brilliant to have you on, Darty. Thanks very much.
You.
And of course, thank you to our sponsors, Bank of Ireland, proud supporters of the 4 Irish provinces.
Joe presents House of Rugby, United Rugby Championship, together with Bank of Ireland, proud supporter of the 4 Irish provinces.